Pokemon Legends ZA and the Mega Dimensions DLC have come and gone, and pretty soon fans are going to begin to wonder what is coming next for the franchise. Right now, the only confirmation is the release of an Animal Crossing Pokemon Fusion, Pokepia, but what about the main series? It seems game development has taken a massive slowdown ever since Scarlet and Violet's initial backlash, and honestly, I don't see that changing anytime soon. Legends ZA spent a significantly longer time in development, and even with a decent amount of criticism on release due to some lazy texturing, amongst other issues, the game seemed to be accepted as the beginning of a new era of Pokemon, with the release of the Switch 2 improving overall performance. So the next question for the Pokemon Company is where to take the series next. The first of three possibilities I see are Pokemon Black and White remakes. This generation is extra special to me, being my first games, and I think that Pokemon also realizes the gravity of remaking Generation 5. Coming off of BDSP, which is by far the most hated remakes and possibly games in the entire franchise, a rebound is much needed to gain back the loyalty of especially older fans who hold Unova close to their hearts. I think another important aspect for these games is the adaptation of both Black and White 2 into one game. BDSP was a direct remake of Diamond and Pearl compared to the much enhanced Platinum that included important aspects of the generation, such as the Distortion World, which was completely left out of the remakes. Also, outsourcing the production of these games outside of Game Freak definitely left a bad taste in fans' mouths, myself included. With all this in mind, there's a solid and realistic chance that Pokemon Black and White could get their remakes as the next entry in the main series of games. I look forward cautiously to what this could look like in a modern day game. Again, this generation is just so well loved by fans, and I really think that the Pokemon Company would be doing a disservice to itself by messing up these games again. BDSP was such a hated and just downright bad game, and I think a lot of people just didn't love the art style as well. Again, I think you can just really tell that those games are very outsourced and almost cheaply made. I think those scenes from Black and White, such as the Sky Arrow bridge animation that is just so iconic in the world of DS games, and just overall pushing the limits of what that system could do. I think it would be really great if things like that were transferred over to the Switch and could see what could be done in the 3D environment. However, I would also love if maybe the Pokemon Company thought of doing a retro or 2D style for these games. I think that would be totally out of nowhere, and while I totally don't see them doing it just because of the way that modern gaming is moving, and while I really don't see that happening, I think it could be something that they do in the near future, and even further down the line when they are remaking future games, even maybe the 3D games such as X and Y, maybe that could be revisited in a 2D format, but I don't really see that again just because of Legends ZA, but who knows, maybe for Alola or the future. I know that was kind of off topic, but I really just want to emphasize how much these games do mean to me, and I know a lot of you people out there too, so I really hope that they do take their time with production of these games, and that in the near future we can have some really great games to reflect Generation 5. The next possibility I see is a new Let's Go entry, particularly set in the Johto region. I think it's become very evident that the Johto region is one Pokemon fans want to see very soon. It's been over 15 years since the release of the Johto remake Soul Silver and Heart Gold, which is crazy to think about, and it's just as crazy that fans have not revisited this historic franchise's second generation since then. Personally, I think Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee have gained a lot more support and approval from fans as they've aged, and I think that on release these games just got a lot of scrutiny from being so different. And I think over the years a lot of fans have realized that being different isn't such a bad thing, especially with the release of really popular games like Legends and those series as well. I really like the more simple and laid back visiting gameplay in this version of the Kanto region and Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. The art style and the graphics are some of my favorites in the entire series, honestly, and I think that the overall animations and models of Pokemon add so much to the vibe of this game. I think the models in the overworld, especially with Pokemon following you around, and those models look some of the best in the entire franchise, and I really hope that we see this kind of style again sometime in the future. It seems that the fan base is also pretty on board with the next visit to the Johto region being a Let's Go entry, especially after Legends chose the Kalos region with Legends ZA. I also think that Chikorita and Totodile both being starters in Legends ZA was not by accident, and maybe a little hint that the Pokemon Company also realizes the lack of Johto in the past 15 years of Pokemon. Again, even when I was predicting what starters were going to be in the ZA games, I did not think they were going to choose two Pokemon from the same generation, especially Gen 2 like Totodile and Chikorita. Regardless though, I think it's entirely possible that the next game coming to the main series is a Let's Go game, and it's going to be set in the Johto region, but I could also see it being set in another region, maybe even a newer one, who knows. The final and most realistic possibility in my eyes is Generation 10. We haven't received any news or hints other than leaks about where Generation 10 could be taking the series, but I do think whatever news we do get will be for the 30th anniversary in 2026. And if it is a Generation 10 announcement, I think it would definitely be then. Theorizing what this could mean for the franchise, I could see a return to a Japanese-inspired generation for the big 10th generation, especially since the last generation based off a region in Japan was Hoenn in Generation 4. Since then, the series has jumped between American and European influences, and if it wasn't Japan, I would hope for a region based off of Italy or Australia. I think welcoming either of those cultures and regions to the Pokemon world would be really cool. But for the rest of the information here, we really don't have anything to go off of. Scarlet and Violet really put a bad taste in people's mouths with the graphic and frame rate issues on release, and I think that the Pokemon Company has been steadily prioritizing this part of the experience even more. I know with Legends EA there were some more texture issues, and especially comparing between 2013 and now with X and Y, I think the Switch 2's power will for sure help these issues, but the lackluster textures will for sure have to be addressed. Or not, people will buy regardless, just because it has the Pokemon name on it. But seriously, I do think that a Generation 10 announcement is the most natural and expected announcement in the upcoming future, specifically since it's just been so long since Generation 9 has come out at this point. And I do think that if it is announced next year, it is going to be during some type of 30th anniversary event, like some type of stream or something like that. But if there's one thing that the Pokemon Company is good at, it's definitely subverting expectations, and I could see something else happening that's not anything that I've listed today. What do you think is next for Pokemon? Do you think it's going to be any of my ideas, or possibly something completely different? Let me know in the comments. If you've enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by mid-2026, and with your support, I know we can get there. Again, thank you for watching, and see you all soon.